The lights of the Jimmy Kimmel Live studio blaze down on a packed audience, their murmurs buzzing like static before a storm. Clint Eastwood, Hollywood legend, sits across from Kimmel, his weathered face carved with lines that tell stories of 1,000 roles, 1,000 fights. At 90 plus, he's still a force, his presence heavy like the weight of every Western he ever starred in. Kimmel, all polished charm and quick wit, leans forward, ready to steer the conversation. The crowd expects banter. Maybe a nostalgic nod to Dirty Harry or a quip about Eastwood's latest directorial project. But tonight, something's off. You can feel it in the air. Attention nobody's named yet. Eastwood's here to promote his new film, a gritty drama about a retired cop facing down his past. It's the kind of project that demands respect. The kind that reminds you why he's still in the game. Kimmel starts easy, asking about the inspiration behind the movie. Eastwood's voice, low and growly, cuts through the room. He talks about truth, about how the world's lost its grip on it, how his film digs into the mess of human choices. The audience nods along, captivated by the rawness in his words. But Kimmel, sensing a chance to lighten the mood, pivots to a joke about Eastwood's age. Something about still throwing punches when most folks his age are in rocking chairs. The crowd laughs, but Eastwood doesn't. His eyes, sharp as ever, lock onto Kimmel. The host doesn't notice, or maybe he does, and thinks he can skate past it. He doubles down, tossing out another line about how Eastwood's probably got a stunt double for walking. Now the audience chuckles again, but it's thinner this time, nervous. Eastwood leans back, his silence louder than the laughter. When he finally speaks, his words are measured, deliberate. He says he didn't come here to be a punchline. He came to talk about the work, about things that matter. The studio goes quiet, the kind of quiet that makes your skin prickle. Kimmel tries to recover, flashing that boyish grin he's famous for. He steers the conversation back to the film, asking about the challenges of directing at this stage in Eastwood's career, but the mood's shifted. Eastwood's answers are clipped now, his patience fraying. He talks about the film's themes, corruption, betrayal, the kind of stuff that hits hard in a world drowning in headlines. Then Kimmel, maybe sensing the interview slipping, brings up politics. It's a loaded move. Eastwood's known for his outspoken views, and Kimmel's audience leans a certain way. The host asks, half joking, if Eastwood's cop character would vote the way he does. The question lands like a match in dry grass. Eastwood's jaw tightens. He says the film isn't about politics. It's about people, about what's right and wrong when the system fails. But Kimmel pushes, asking if Eastwood's views, his real ones, bleed into the story. The audience shifts in their seats, sensing blood in the water. Eastwood doesn't take the bait, not yet. He leans forward, his voice steady but edged with something dangerous. He says he's not here to preach, but he's not afraid to call things as he sees them. The crowd split, some clapping, others murmuring. Kimmel, caught off guard, tries to pivot again, but Eastwood's not letting it go. He starts talking about the state of the country, about division, about how people like Kimmel stir it up for ratings. The segment's running long and the producers are signaling to wrap it up. Kimmel tries to cut in, but Eastwood's on a roll. His words raw, unfiltered, the kind of truth that makes people uncomfortable. He's not yelling, but he doesn't need to. Every syllable carries weight. The audience is riveted, some cheering, others stunned. Kimmel's smile is gone now, replaced by a tight grimace. He knows this is spiraling and he's got to regain control before the break. But Eastwood's not done. And what he says next sends the whole thing crashing. Eastwood's voice cuts through the studio like a blade. Each word deliberate, heavy with conviction. He's not just talking about his film anymore. He's laying bare the hypocrisy he sees everywhere in media, in culture, in the very room he's sitting in. He calls out the way shows like Kimmel's thrive on cheap shots and sound bites. How they twist truth into entertainment. The audience is frozen, some nodding, others glaring, but nobody's looking away. Kimmel's face is a mask of forced calm, his hands gripping the desk a little too tight. He tries to interject, tossing out a light-hearted quip to diffuse the moment, but Eastwood doesn't even acknowledge it. He's locked in, and the room feels smaller, like the walls are closing around Kimmel's carefully curated world. The producers are frantic now. Their signals from the control booth more desperate. They're seconds from a commercial break. And this interview is a runaway train. Eastwood's not shouting, but his intensity is relentless. His words painting a picture of a country fractured by people who'd rather score points than face hard truths. He points a finger, not at Kimmel directly, but the gesture feels personal. He says the problem isn't just out there. It's right here in places where people laugh at serious things because it's easier than thinking. The crowd's reactions is a messy split. Cheers clashing with boos and Kimmel stuck in the middle. His usual charm useless against Eastwood's raw force. Finally, the break hits and the show cuts to commercials. The audience is buzzing, a chaotic hum of excitement and unease. Backstage, the mood is grim. Kimmel's team huddles, voices low but urgent. They know this is bad. The kind of bad that trends online and spawns headlines. Eastwood still in his chair, calm as ever, like he didn't just set the stage on fire. A producer approaches him, all nervous smiles, suggesting they smooth things over for the next segment. Eastwood just looks at him, that squinting stare that silenced tougher men, and says he's not here to smooth anything. The producer backs off fast. When the show resumes, Kimmel's back on, his smile a little too wide, his voice a touch too bright. He tries to reset, welcoming the audience back and cracking a joke about how things got a little spicy. The crowd laughs, but it's hollow, and Eastwood's expression hasn't changed. Kimmel pivots to a safer topic, asking about Eastwood's early days in Hollywood, hopping to steer the conversation into nostalgic waters. But Eastwood's not playing along. He answers curtly, his mind clearly elsewhere. And then, without warning, he circles back to where they left off. He says, the problem with shows like this is they pretend to care about truth, but only when it's convenient, when it fits the script. Kimmel's rattled now, his laugh forced. He tries to pivot again, bringing up a viral clip of Eastwood directing on set, hopping to shift to something lighter. But Eastwood shuts it down, saying he's not interested in viral moments. He's interested in what's real. The audience is on edge, sensing the clash isn't over. Eastwood leans forward, his voice quieter now but no less piercing. He starts talking about responsibility, about how people with platforms like Kimmel have a duty to do more than chase. Laughs. He says the world's hurting, and instead of helping, too many just fan the flames. The crowd's reaction is louder this time, a mix of applause and murmurs. Some agreeing, others defensive. Kimmel's losing ground, and he knows it. He tries to interrupt, framing it as a friendly debate, but Eastwood's not debating. He's statting, and every word lands like a hammer. The segment's clock is ticking down again, and the producers are signaling to wrap, but Eastwood's not stopping. He says something sharp about how people hide behind humor to avoid accountability, and the audience gasps, a few cheering, others stunned. Kimmel's smile is gone, his eyes darting to the control booth. He knows he's got to end this segment, but Eastwood's next move pushes everything past the point of no return. The studio lights feel harsher now, like they're exposing every crack in the polished facade of Jimmy Kimmel Live. Clint Eastwood's last words about hiding behind humor to dodge accountability hang in the air, sharp and unforgiving. The audience is a live wire, some leaning forward, others shifting.